Hello, Martin. Welcome back. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, David. And I see our new year straight away starts with controversy, doesn't it? Minutes into it.
Well, we wouldn't expect anything less. And it's funny, isn't it? Not long after that, Little Prick was trending on Twitter. I don't suppose people were talking about the 5'5" mayor, were they?
Well, exactly. And as you know, we saw that big fist of the Black Lives Matter movement hover over our capital, the fist of the Black Power salute that represents our monuments being desecrated, the police being defunded, beaten up in the capital, people being beaten and murdered out of the United States. I mean, this was an absolute poke in the eye to the rest of the country, that was.
It was indeed, and you've got to ask yourself, right? So, from the outsider's point of view, looking in, you'd think, a lot of people are quick to jump on a bandwagon. I put this photograph up on Twitter. I was quick to receive lots of fan mail from our lefty friends. Called me a racist, xenophobe, Nazi, etc., etc. But one of the tweets that came about, I would just want to bring up quickly because I found it quite interesting. This guy referred to me as Vanilla Man. Now, I can't help but think, if it was in reverse and I referred to him as Chocolate Man, I think my Twitter account would have been deleted and I probably would have got a knock on the door from the police. We've got these new hate speech and hate crime laws, whereas, if you got hurty feelings or you felt that something's directed at you, in a way it's a hate crime. But it seems to be only working in a one way.
As usual.
The conflict of interest here, Martin. Now, we've spoken about this before. I've done a video on Sadiq Khan being the vice president of the Fabian Society.
Yes.
Now,
very good video.
If, right, you're a member of the Fabian Society, which, for those who don't know, is a socialist organisation which wants to bring about socialism in the UK by gradually some reformist efforts rather than through a revolutionary overthrow. So, if you were a member of that society, what kind of steps would you take, Martin, to dismantle capitalism if you was a mayor? What would you do?
Well, I guess the primary thing was run it into the ground as best as possible. But surely Sadiq Khan wouldn't do that to the capital, would he?
I mean, the finances are looking pretty good. I mean, there's only a 1.9 billion black hole in the TFL budget.
But he doesn't have a record of spending very well, though, does he?
Well, apparently not. I mean, online people can look this up. The Conservatives from the London Authority have put up a website. It's got, you should check this out. It's called 10 Ridiculous Ways Khan's Wasted Your Money. And it lists 10 ridiculous ways, obviously, that he's wasted your money. He's wasted quite a lot of money. Let's not forget that London knife crime is going through the roof. Every weekend, he is murdered, pretty much stabbed. 3 or 4 people are stabbed every week, roughly. It's absolutely shocking. But yeah, you would, I suppose, if you was a member of the Fabian Society and you wanted to dismantle capitalism, I mean, that's the sort of thing you would do, wouldn't it? You'd run the country, the capital's finances into the ground, wouldn't you?
You would, and you start blaming Boris Johnson, saying it's all his fault, not the fact that he was wasting this sort of money on crazy different things, and as usual, runs out of money and he's bailing out. It's sickening that he's still in that position, to be quite honest.
It is. It's a waste of taxpayers' money. He's sucking the life out of London, and he needs to go. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but I've just found out that he's spent £9 million. He's spending £9 million to get the Dominion vote counting machines, the same machines that they used in the US election, which are controversial because not just because of the election with Trump and Biden, but also in Venezuela, the same systems were used in Venezuela. Which saw Chavez get an extra million votes of people that didn't exist. And when they went to examine these machines, there was like 27,000 of them all in the same building being stored. That building magically went up in flames. So there's quite a lot of history with the Dominion voting. So, I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, exactly, but probably just what he wants. One for you, two for me, just as we've seen as well. But we know what Labour are like when it comes to voting anyway. They'll go round and round up all the postal votes and stuff. But now it looks like they're getting so desperate. They're going to automated methods for a system that's proved so much controversy. But to waste £9 million on it, though, that is disgusting. That really is. How can he get away with that? That £9 million could have done so much more for London.
Well, that's it, exactly. What's wrong with the current voting systems that are in place at the moment? So he's wasted more money. That £9 million could have gone towards, fighting knife crime,
Mm.
instead. But I mean, I urge people to have a look at this. It's called the 10 ridiculous ways Khan's wasted your money. And some of them he wasted £10 million to find out the personality color of metropolitan police officers.
What does it matter about the colour of them?
Um, £10 million. You know what I mean? I mean that could have funded the police. They could have put a few bobbies on the beat. Maybe a few patrol guards, a bit of PPE. Helped them out. We always hear about cuts and austerity and all sorts of stuff like that from Khan. He's always whinging about cuts, but then he's always wasting money.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, we know what the agenda is. He's just trying to drive the capital into the ground.
Yes.
This ideology that he has, it's there to be seen in plain sight. You mentioned Gordon Brown was a part of such society. He's sold off our pension gold reserves for next to nothing.
Yes.
And we see Khan doing the very similar thing from the same textbooks by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. And obviously the reason he shares the same beliefs as, Black Lives Matter, because they're Marxists themselves. We've seen the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement in the US who've come out and said that they're trained Marxists. Here we've got, black supremacist Sasha Johnson, who was removed from Twitter after she tweeted saying that white man won't be our equal, they'll be our slaves. Changing. This organisation have killed people in America. They've rioted. They've burnt down buildings. They've attacked people. They've done the same in this country, and people have had enough and don't want to. There's nothing wrong with saying Black Lives Matter because of course they do.
Absolutely.
What people need to understand is this is a bit more. This is a socialist movement, and they're trying to use socialism, or trying to advance socialism through using, these minority groups and whatnot. See, socialism, the classic version of socialism, was about like class reform and whatnot. But now it's about the minorities, and this time they've got a new oppressor, which is the white man. And hence the tweet I just spoke about there. If it was in reverse, wow,
you'll be down the police station. Absolutely,
it is. It's there is a 2-tier policing system going on at the moment, as we've seen. Dave Curtin's brought this up with Khan, which he's denied that there is. We can blatantly see there is, and we can see why. He supports them, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. It's all political from the police, everything. But that was the final straw, though, seeing that fist hovering above the Capitol on New Year's Eve. That was a really, really poor moment, that.